Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins. We'll just look at the major players like Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP on this. And before we start, we'll just have a quick look at this. You know, we do like this at the moment. So it's still at 61. So obviously, you know, as far as it's concerned, you know, Bitcoin is positive. Let's not fool ourselves. I mean, we have dropped significantly, but it's not, you know, a crash, is it? It's a pullback. It's a big one though. It's a dump, really, isn't it? But basically, we want to know if we are buying dips or not. So what I would say is, you know, we've fallen down long and hard, and to be honest with you, there is a chance that we'll continue. But what we're looking at now is a possible rally. The alts are already starting to rally, but we saw this earlier on today on this dip. So alts obviously outperforming Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the main indicator. So this is what I'm trying to stress, that they're all at this point they are very closely tied together in their movements, almost exactly. So whatever, if Bitcoin goes down, then everything will go down. So for an example, we're looking at Ethereum here. So we had a big wick up back after this dump here. We broke out the center of the Bollinger Band here on the 15-minute, all the way towards the 50 exponential, then came back down, and with Bitcoin, as Bitcoin did the same. And now what we're doing is exactly the same thing. We've broken out the side of the top of the Bollinger Band in the top area now, and we're trying to reclaim, I suppose, for the first time on the 15-minute chart, the 50 exponential. So we'll go to the 30-minute chart, and the top for Ethereum, if this were to continue, I would say would probably be 527, which is roughly the top of the Bollinger Band meets the 50 exponential moving average on the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart for Bitcoin is more accurate in the way that, in a similar way to the 15-minute chart. So we go to the 15-minute chart first. And again, you know, it's very difficult for me to do this analysis. That I prefer to do long-term analysis, which is why I'm able to call these things. Okay, so now what's happened? We've for the first time pierced there. Not the first time, we did it here, but it didn't really work out. So this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out now, but there are some more bullish signs occurring. Not just the fact that we've come across the center of the Bollinger Band on the 15-minute chart, but 15-minute chart here. Is slowly getting further and further towards the 0 point on the MACD, and on the 30-minute chart is what's going to really confirm this. If we break above this center of the Bollinger Band here, so this big pink line I've got here, if we break above there and hold above there, then we probably would find a relatively good rally up to around 17,500 or so, and then I would probably expect a rejection. I don't think there's going to be much more upside to be had on this, when clearly the larger term time frames are going to be having it really, and this is sort of, I suppose, my main thing. The longer term time frames are what's going to what kind of has it really. So if we're looking at this chart here, we're trying to, I suppose, reclaim the center of the Bollinger Band on the daily, and it may do that. If we close above it, then that would be a good sign actually, but if we don't close above it, then, you know, the bears are in control. Massively steep RSI there, and a cross taking place on the MACD on the daily for the first time in a very long time. Massively oversold, I'd say, here, and on the money flow index on the 4-hourly. So there is a chance that this actually does break now, and we do have that rally. So first attempts I can see getting rejected here. That's okay though. That's what's to be expected. That would be the obvious place to sell. You know, to take some profit, I'd say. I should really be doing this live, shouldn't I, really? I mean, it serves no purpose. By the time this is all uploaded, the move will have played out, and this whole video will be obsolete, won't it? I don't even know really why I'm doing it, to be honest. Let's have a look at how these boys are performing. XRP looking quite strong actually, all the way to the top of the Bollinger Band on the 15-minute chart. We'll go to the 30-minute chart. The reason we're trading these, I'm showing you these on the small-term time frames, is supposed to, in a way, skill you up for your own trading purposes. Yeah, flicking between time frames is really important to trying to spot different. Well, I suppose trying to spot a bottom, trying to spot a trend. You'd start with a low time frame, maybe like a 5-minute to see how that's performed. If any of these moving averages are going steep, if we're breaking out certain areas, which XRP certainly is, and obviously Bitcoin would have done this too. So we go to a 5-minute chart to start with to see how that's performed. Looking very good, but obvious area to be rejected from here. If this gets bought right back up, we'll be talking 17,200. See if that corresponds to anything on the 15-minute chart. 17,200 would correspond to nothing particular, but roughly this Ichimoku cloud. Go to our 30-minute chart. Does that correspond to anything there? Not exactly, but you can see that there are multiple resistances for different time frames to say that there are lots of areas that lots of people will essentially be selling at. So whichever chart they're trading, which in my opinion the best way to to chart and trade is on a 15-minute chart, but the 30-minute chart certainly got some relevance to it on this occasion. So we go to the hourly. So the hourly is going to bring it down to earth a little bit more. Hourly, there we go. So we've matched that number that we found on the other term time frame. So 17,200, 17,300 is the center of the Bollinger Band. If it were to come up to this on this hour right now, that would probably be a rejection. I'd say that's a strong one. But we do have bullish divergence taking place on the RSI. We've also got a cross coming up on the MACD, but these things unto themselves aren't indicators as such. There's signs of a possible relief rally, a possible bottom, and this what you'd be looking at this point now would be if we do make a rally, and if we do start to reclaim some of these areas, we will now look at this as an area of support in the future. Which would probably be around about 16,500, which was one of the targets I set last night. Was a relevant target. So it kind of does all coincide with all kinds of time frames, and that's one way to look at all this. If you merge all these time frames together, you try and work out where the moving averages are going, where previous supports and resistances are, and if they kind of converge to a certain area, then you've found yourself a reasonable place to either buy from or sell from, short from, or whatever. So it does look like there is going to be the relief rally now, and it'll be interesting to see where these things go. As far as the long-term time frames though, so we go to the main thing would be the daily for me. The daily's looking pretty hardcore, but in all fairness, if we do find a decent relief rally, and we do close above the centre of this Bollinger Band, there is every chance actually that over the next few days it does continue up. It might not be the worst thing in the world. It might actually be okay. But personally, it's a very difficult one to call. That was a significant change in sentiment there, and a very difficult one to call. Personally, I feel like the move for me was the one that was played out yesterday, and that was the main one. And what we're seeing here are significant buybacks and bounces, but nothing of any real significance. I don't think we're going to find ourselves back up to the all-time high. I think we're going to consolidate sideways and down. So these are nice moves for leverage positions, I suppose, and they're also going to be nice moves for short positions also. Shorting from these moving averages, whether it be here or lower, or even perhaps here. I think the strength is clearly not, the buybacks aren't anywhere near as aggressive as they used to be, and we can see that when we go to the daily. The daily, what we used to see was nothing like this. We've also got curvatures now for the first time in a while on these smaller term time frames. So the 7, the 10, they're all curving down. They will likely be areas to be shorting from as well. And the daily is the chart that I prefer more than any, mainly because I suppose it suits my lifestyle. I'm so busy I can't sit around trading all day, so I like to try and chart this out for a long-term situation. So the long-term has previously been ride this up, bouncing on the 10 or the 7, and now we've broken down beneath both of them, and they're facing down. They're likely to be areas to short from. So it's the inverse of what we've been doing recently, and this will be the way it's kind of working. And if these start crossing over this centre of this Bollinger Band, then the downtrend is more or less confirmed until further notice. And these areas are all, like I say, areas to buy from, which would be 15,000 would be a great buy, probably to short, to sell towards the top of the Bollinger Band. I think this video's got a lot less value in it, in all fairness, than my previous ones. I have to say, I'm listening to myself almost like an out of body experience, and just thinking, is there any value to what I'm saying right now? We are possibly looking at what is a change in trend. But because it's less than 24 hours old, it's not really possible, because there's not been any confirmations either way. We want to see it at this daily candle close, and if it closes beneath the 10 exponential and the 7 simple, and especially the Bollinger Band, then that is almost a certain confirmation that we will be going sideways and down, and that is the way I kind of feel that this is going anyway. I don't really, it's obviously confirmation is good, but I don't really feel as though I need that confirmation to expect that to play out. So yeah, you can buy your bounces, you can buy your dips, you can try and catch knives, but that's not really how I want to do it. I think now what my preferred strategy is going to be at this point now is to have a downtrend confirmed and more or less focus on shorts from resistance, in the way that we used to buy from supports. And you can buy dips obviously, but dips are harder to confirm in a downtrend where they actually are, unless they're significant ones like this one, which would be around 15,000, a nice round flat psychological number that coincides with this exponential moving average. But the daily is super bearish right now. It appears that we're basically less than 24 hours into what is going to be a confirmed sideways and down trend. And my overall target, bottom line target, is going to be 13,000, which is this trend line. And when it comes to things like XRP, so that you can see how moving averages work. So this is only a moving average on a 5-minute time frame. So we came all the way up to there and just smashed it and completely rejected from it. And that's just a 5-minute time frame. Something I would never really trade that myself. But you can see that's got major significance on it just on a 5-minute. See if that corresponds to anything on the 15-minute chart. No, but the 50 exponential did. So the 50 exponential struggled here, and now if we close beneath this here, and Bitcoin I suppose gets rejected on the 30-minute center of the Bollinger Band, which it is struggling to get above it now, then yeah, that's it for alts. This would definitely be more relevant on a live stream. I completely understand that. Anyway, I feel like as though I've exhausted my value on this one for what it's worth. I probably really need to do some tutorials on how to go about trading all this sort of stuff, don't I really, for it to be relevant. And I'm mainly talking to my Telegram group here as well. I appreciate I've got other people who watch me on YouTube, but my Telegram group, it's become much more of a buzzing community. Lots of questions, lots of trade setups from lots of people, and this is my way of trading. Really, it's mainly based on moving averages and very basic but simple strategies. Supports, resistance, moving averages, Ichimoku cloud crosses, but long-term analysis is always the key, and that is taking place on the daily and sometimes even the weekly. Let's have a quickly venture over to the Bitcoin dominance chart. So the weekly, looking to reclaim again a moving average, the 50 exponential. We'll have a look on a very short-term time frame, like an hourly, to see how that's going. So as this is going down, this means that alts are rallying clearly to this point now, where I might expect to see. So what this is saying here as well is that this is the bottom of the Bollinger Band. This is also the green 50 exponential. We could find ourselves coming down with alts at this point now, as Bitcoin essentially gets rejected from this level now on the 30-minute chart. That bringing that down would allow all these alts to then come down again. So it's very, very undecided. I appreciate there's lots of you on the Telegram trying to catch these knives, and there's definitely value in doing that, which carries too much risk for me. That's not really for me. I'm really, really pleased with the way that my latest trades have played out, especially catching the top on Bitcoin and the entire market actually, and also catching the bottom of XRP. I mean, just those two moves are like moves that you rarely catch. You catch maybe one or two of those sort of things in a year, and I've caught two of them in a week. So for me, I mean, there's no point in me trying to overextend my confidence when I'm not that confident at the moment. We can pick up on little signals like I've tried to do here on the bullish divergence, and on the hourly I think we saw that too, didn't we? Yeah, so it's definitely more prominent on the hourly. So there is a chance that this is the bottom for now. But you could wake up in the morning and it's certain there'll be a new bottom. There's so many, we're beneath so many moving averages at this point now, on the shorter term time frames, which could all offer areas of rejection, that the whole thing can just come tumbling down again, and it is hungry for a further drop. When we saw it on the daily chart, I did kind of show this to you guys on the last video, but this is a bull market. The bull market was all over here. We saw ourselves getting rejected 40% here, and then even when we turned up above the center of this above this trend line, that was a 10% drop, that was a 16% drop, and that was a 30-odd% drop in a bull market. So it's all perfectly normal. And what have we dropped today? What, 16% max, 10% at the moment. There's definitely more to come, and it could bring us all the way down to 13,000, and everything could be completely fine. So, like I say, the moves have played out. We caught those moves. We've done some epic moves, these last few weeks. So let's not go out and try and get too clever on this one. If this is a consolidation, which I do believe it is, it's going to take a bit of time to play out, and we got ourselves rejected there. So I would imagine the alts will come down if this 30-minute chart isn't completely compromised by the fact that Bitcoin breaks above and then gets supported above the center of the Bollinger Band. If that was the case, then that would be great. But we're heading into this Ichimoku cloud here, and when we're looking at these moving averages and these other indicators, that they're neither here nor there. We're splitting hairs really. So nothing. I have no major conviction over any kind of super bounce. I've got more confidence in the fact that we're going to go sideways and down for a prolonged period of time, and this is just reaction from people trying to make the most of price action, whether they missed it last night or if they're just hungry for more. It's not really for me to say in any way, shape or form, with any form of conviction, that we're going to be going up to this level or this level or this level. Which is why I've never run a signals group, and I don't think I ever would. I've had offers to do signals groups, and people manage it for me and things like that. I just don't feel confident in that kind of thing. It's not really appropriate, because signals move. In my way of trading, levels move all the time. They move because the moving averages move all the time. If we look at this Bollinger Band, if I was to say an hour ago, short from here, where it would have been an appropriate place to short from, I can't give you a text and say short from this level here, the 17,389, because 2 hours later that would be 17,213, and then a few hours after that it could be 16,880. So you can see what my dilemma is, that in order to be relevant, I'd need to really be live to try and trade these kind of things. But the best way, and the way that I run this channel essentially, is through daily analysis. And the daily, even though that is a nice drop, there's more to come, and it's a consolidation. And when we see parabolic moves, they consolidate, and they consolidate over a long period of time. We'll have a look actually at XRP as an example of this, because this isn't the first big move. I mean, that was a very big move, but this was also a very big move. This was a 70 or 80% move, which I should add that we did catch. So an 85% move, and it wasn't exactly parabolic, but we did dump significantly, and then sort of a bounce, and then it's a consolidation, and then a final dump. That's the sort of not exactly that pattern, but you see what I mean. That's a consolidation and a reaccumulation, and that's probably what we're going to get from Bitcoin, in my opinion. But it doesn't mean that there's not plenty of trades to be had, and so I wish you all the best making those trades. Join my Telegram, it's more up to date. If you're looking to get kind of signals and things, I can't really give you a signal, but I can give you my opinion. I can give you my opinion on any coin that you want to pose to me. I can have a look at it for you. Absolutely no problem with that. But for the moment, I'm kind of undecided, and like I say, I've made hundreds of percent profit just recently. It's not really appropriate for me to try and catch these little moves, which is essentially what they are. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you, and take it easy.